All right, welcome. Today, we're diving into something I think is really, really cool. We're going to look at just one fictional family, the Tarraqhavvez, and see how their family tree is basically a secret map to their entire culture. So, let's just jump right into the big question. How can something as basic as a family tree, just a list of names and ages, tell a whole story about an entire culture? I'm talking its values, its economy, its future. That's the puzzle we're going to solve in this explainer. And to get our answers, well, we've got to meet the family at the heart of it all, the Tarraqhavvezes. They're going to be our guides, giving us a really fascinating window into the world of the Arrekana people. So everything we're about to figure out, it all starts with just one household, out in the countryside. And this one number, 10. 10 siblings all living together. That single number is the bedrock of this whole thing. They are our cast of characters, and it's their jobs, their relationships, that really get this cultural story rolling.
Okay, so let's break this down. The best way to understand them is in 3 groups. First up, we've got what this source material calls the pillars of the vineyard. These are the leaders and the providers, right? The 4 oldest siblings who are basically running the entire family operation.
And you can see right away just how specific their jobs are. You've got Iraventa, who's overseeing all the trade. Then there's Salika, who's in charge of the wine blending and tasting rituals, super important. Torrenta handles the livestock trading, and Elenaka runs the creamery, making cheese. Oh, and you gotta notice the star dates here. It looks like that's how they mark birthdays, and it's all tied to nature, right? Moon of harvest flame, so cool. So when you put them all together, these 4 aren't just the big kids. They are a complete self-sustaining economic machine. All right, so after the leaders, we get to the middle group, the next generation. I like to call them the specialists in training. This is where we start to see just how much this culture is focused on making sure vital skills and knowledge get passed down. I mean, this just screams long-term planning, doesn't it? We've got Caraventa, the horse breeder and stable master. Morelica is the herbalist and apothecary apprentice. And Geranta is learning butchery and how to smoke meats. These are not just random chores, They are highly specialized crafts that are absolutely essential for the family's survival and success. They're the future support system, learning everything hands-on. Okay, but it's not all about business and training, right? This final group, this is what I think of as the soul of the family, its cultural heart. This is where we get to see what the Aragana people truly care about, beyond just day-to-day survival. I mean, just look at these roles. This is all about identity. You've got Fayarica, who's the Harvest Festival's songstress, and get this, Orlan Tata, who's only 10, is already designated as a caravan guard and protector. And the youngest, little Lisavaka, at just 7 years old, has maybe the most important job of all. She's the vineyard storyteller. So their purpose isn't economic. It's to maintain the family's spirit, its history, and its safety. They are literally the keepers of the culture. Okay, so when you step back and you look at all 3 of these groups together, you start to see it, right? This isn't just some big family. It is a grand design. It's a whole system, and it's built for what the source calls a legacy of continuity. And the absolute key to this whole system, the secret sauce, if you will, comes down to this one number, 16 years. That's the age difference between the oldest sibling, Ariventa, and the very youngest, Lisavaka. And trust me, that isn't just a fun fact. It's the engine that drives this entire structure. And this timeline just lays out the genius of that 16-year span perfectly. Because of that gap, it guarantees there is always someone in a leadership role, someone in training, and someone just starting out learning the family stories and traditions. It creates this beautiful, constant, rolling cycle of mentorship and succession. Just as one sibling is hitting their stride as a leader, another one is just starting their apprenticeship. It's seamless. And you know what? The source material backs this up word for word. The whole point of this design is that it, quote, gives the countryside household a sense of continuity. See? This isn't an accident. This is a deliberate cultural strategy, a blueprint for stability and resilience that's designed to last for generations. So what's the big takeaway here? What does this one family actually tell us about the entire Arrekana culture? Well, a ton. It shows us a society where every single person, even a 7-year-old, has a defined and meaningful role. It reveals a culture that puts immense value on passing knowledge from one generation to the next. We see that profound connection between their lives and the natural world, right there in their star dates. And ultimately, it shows us a social structure built for one thing above all else, stability and legacy. And that brings us right back to where we started, to that big question. But now I'm going to turn it over to you. What does a family structure, whether it's one you're reading about or one in the real world, reveal about a culture's deepest values? It's a pretty powerful lens to look through, isn't it? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.